why would you need to put it a half mile under a mountain facility to protect it if it was a completely peaceful program? That's just some of the thoughts about it. Secondly, President Trump has said he would not hesitate to launch more strikes if Iran tries to rebuild its enrichment program. So what's your response to President Trump?
Because of the, constant threats by Israelis, by, the United States in the past, we had no way but to protect our facilities and to protect our material and protect our scientists. So my message to the United States is that let's go for a negotiated solution for Iran's nuclear program.
This is my video update on this Tuesday afternoon, July the 22nd. Coming to you from Moscow. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the Fox News interview with the Foreign Minister of Iran, Mr. Araghchi. And this interview was with Bret Baier. It was a Fox exclusive. And the reason that Iran decided to go ahead with this interview, perhaps even ask for this interview, is because this is the way that Iran can speak to U.S. President Trump, to negotiate with President Trump. Because the way Trump shapes his foreign policy is from information from Lindsey Graham or from Fox News. So if you want to speak to President Trump, you either have to go through Lindsey or you have to go through Fox News. So Iran decided to go through Fox News instead of through Lindsey. Anyway, Bret Baier, he asked the difficult questions to the Foreign Minister of Iran. And the Foreign Minister of Iran answered those questions in a way that will probably not convince Trump to attack Iran sometime in the future. That's how I saw this interview. The Iranian Foreign Minister was asked why his country was storing uranium so deep underground in a mountain. And the Iranian foreign minister said in order to protect our nuclear enrichment program from being attacked from Israel and the United States. But he said, look, we need to negotiate. He said, let's try to figure this out through negotiations. That's what he said when he was answering Bret Baier's question about why his country was storing the uranium deep underground. Bret Baier also asked him about the 60% enrichment, and the Iranian foreign minister said that Iran had agreed to under 5%, which is true. And that was the JCPOA, which got canceled by the Trump administration, but Iran had agreed to under 5%. Then he said it enriched to 20% for various domestic issues and industries. I believe one of those industries is the pharmaceutical or medicine industry, where you do need certain drugs, from what I understand, or treatments need uranium enriched to 20 or 25%. And then he said that the enrichment of 60% was done in order to get some leverage during negotiations. He actually admitted that, which I don't know if that was correct, the correct thing to do, but I guess it's being honest. Alexander has talked about this at length in many videos, that Iran they were enriching the uranium to 60% in order to gain some leverage over the Trump administration during the negotiations. The Iranian foreign minister said that they never enriched uranium to 90%, and he also stated that once there was a deal in place, if they could have gotten a deal with President Trump and the United States, then they would have taken that enrichment down from 60% to the 5%. So that was how he answered that question. And then Brett Baer asked him about the alleged reports, the alleged assassination attempts or assassination plans against Trump and Pompeo and stuff like that, which was just a ridiculous question for Baer to ask the Iranian foreign minister. I've gone over the claim from intel agencies about Iran looking to go after President Trump. And this report was put out there around the same time as the Butler assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. So I think that whole thing was very sketchy, that report about Iran going after President Trump. Anyway, that was the interview from Brett Baer. Iran Nuances says Iran's FM says the damages to Iranian nuclear facilities have been serious and severe, and that the enrichment has now stopped as a result of the damages, but Araghchi added that the country will not give up enrichment. Yeah, Trump jumped on this statement from Araghchi during this interview where he said that the damage to the facilities was significant, though he would not get into any details, understandably so, when Brett Baer asked him about any details of the damage. But Trump jumped on this, and he posted on X, Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, on the Iran nuclear sites. Damages are very severe, and they are destroyed. Of course they are, just like I said, and we will do it again, if necessary. As interviewed by Brett Baer, Fake News CNN should immediately fire their phony reporter and apologize to me and the great pilots who obliterated, in all caps, Iran's nuclear sites. CNN is a major ratings loser, as is MSDNC. So Trump took this as confirmation that the nuclear facilities were completely obliterated. That's not exactly what Araghchi said, and I think Araghchi is probably overstating things about how damaged the nuclear facilities are, thinking that this would deter Trump from going at Iran again sometime in the future. That's why I think he said it. That would be my guess. But Trump in his post on Truth Social, he hints at another strike against Iran, because Araghchi said that the facilities have been significantly damaged, but then he says that Iran is not going to give up its nuclear enrichment program. He said it's not going to give it up because it's a source of pride and it's a scientific accomplishment from Iran. So he said that as well, but Trump took that as meaning that Iran might try to enrich the uranium again, and then Trump is saying that I'm going to hit Iran again if they do it. So this was a strange type of diplomacy that took place on Fox News between the foreign minister and the Trump White House, with Fox as the conduit. So let's now talk about Zelensky and his announcement that there will be talks between Ukraine and Russia. The negotiating teams will meet in Istanbul tomorrow on July 23rd. Let's go for a walk. So that's what Zelensky announced. And we know how this is going to go, because the talks are going to be, at least for Ukraine, they will be focused on on the unconditional ceasefire, and Russia's going to say Istanbul plus terms. And then the collective West is going to say, the media and the Trump White House and the Europeans, they are going to say, you see, Russia doesn't want to agree to peace or a ceasefire, and then we're gonna go to the Trump threats on Truth Social, and now we have the 50-day countdown, or we're on day 43 or day 42 of the countdown to 100% tariffs. Anyway, we know how all of this is going to play out. But Russia said that they will talk to Ukraine, that they are always ready for negotiations. Zelensky was probably pushed by the Trump administration to go ahead with the negotiations because they need to keep the illusion of the United States mediating. They need to keep that alive, that the U.S. is mediating and trying to get to a peace, and so that's why we're going to go through these motions once again in Istanbul. What we will get, which will be a positive from these talks, is we will probably get another prisoner release, which is a positive. That'll be the outcome of these talks. Everest Cola today, bez sachara, without sugar. So it's Everest Cola Light, or Diet Everest Cola. Yeah. Dobry Cola, Rich Cola, Everest Cola. The Coca-Cola alternatives. So you know what else is going to happen now that we're going to have these talks, these negotiations taking place. As is always the case, as these negotiations take place and as they wrap up, we will get some sort of collective West strike into Russia, or some sort of sabotage operation or something like that. That is also how this script always plays out. And so expect, either during the negotiations or after the negotiations, immediately after the negotiations, expect some sort of sabotage operation, or most likely the Taurus, well, don't call it a Taurus, the Ukraine joint venture manufactured long-range missile strike into Russian territory. Most likely something like that is going to take place, either as the negotiations are underway or immediately afterwards. We know this script. We've seen it play out a couple of times already. Zelensky announced his date of next Russia-Ukraine talks. The third round of direct negotiations between Moscow and Kiev is planned for Wednesday. The Ukrainian leader said, okay. Umerov, by the way, is going to be part of these negotiations, the former defense minister. He was supposed to be the ambassador, the Ukraine ambassador to the United States, but the United States rejected him. And there's a lot of talk as to why the United States rejected him. One of the thoughts is that he was rejected because this was Zelensky's way of trying to dismantle the Istanbul negotiation format. So he sent the chief negotiator to be the ambassador of the United States. And then there is another line of analysis which says that Umerov was turned down by the U.S. as ambassador because he's an American citizen. There's no official confirmation or evidence or anything like that which confirms that Umerov is a U.S. citizen. So I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence which suggests as much, but there are reports which claim that he is, and his family has U.S. citizenship. I don't know. Those are the analysis as to why he was turned down for the ambassadorship. So he is going to be at the negotiations. That's my understanding of things. And Scott Bessent, where did I end up? Let's turn around. Sidewalk ends. So Scott Bessent, he is saying that the United States is going to be meeting with China very soon to negotiate on tariffs and trade. And he said that he will put pressure on China to ditch Russia. That's what Besson said. I guess we can't go this way, huh? All right. So let's walk down that way, I guess. Yeah, we can go down this way. So yeah, Besson said he's going to speak with China the next time they meet, which I believe is coming up in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. And he's going to tell the Chinese that they need to stop buying Russian oil and stop trading with Russia, or else 100% tariffs. Besant also said in his statement that he is going to tell the European Union to join up with the United States on the 100% tariff plan. Yeah, as if the EU has a choice, as if they have a choice. Of course, they're going to join up with the United States on 100% tariffs on Russia. Of course, man. Come on, man. That's what a vassal does. A vassal does whatever its master tells it to do. And that is what the EU is going to do. If the Trump White House says 100% tariffs at the end of 50 days or 42 days, whatever time we have left, then the EU is going to place 100% tariffs. Absolutely. They blew up Germany's pipeline in the EU. Germany said nothing. Are they going to complain about 100% tariffs? Are they going to push back against the 100% tariffs? No. They're going to go along with it. The EU elite want to do that. They want to sanction and place as many tariffs on Russia as possible. Anyway, that's what Scott Besson said. And what else? What else? Let's go to the UK Defence Secretary, Mr. Healey, John Healey, who said that the collective West, the UK, now that you have the 50-day Trump deadline, what they should be doing is they should start a 50-day drive to send as many weapons as possible to the Zelensky regime. That is what Healey said. 50-day deadline needed to force Putin to negotiate. Defense Secretary expected to argue that the West should again boost its military support for Ukraine. So that's Healey's statement, the UK Defense Minister. Man, Russia really upset Stammer and Healey. They really upset Stammer and Healey, and that's not a good thing. You don't want to upset Stammer, and you don't want to upset Healey. Healey's a tough guy. He is a tough guy, and when he says something, when he places a deadline, he means it, man. Russia's in big trouble. They are in big trouble. They were already in trouble by pissing off Stammer. Now that Healey is also upset with Russia, things are about to get ugly. Oh boy. Oh boy. Anyway, that's tough guy, John Healey. The amazing, the strong UK Defense Secretary. It's a solid plan, actually. I think it's an incredibly solid plan to try and send as many weapons as you can to Project Ukraine, even though you don't have those weapons. But it doesn't matter. Just say that you're going to send as many weapons as you can to Project Ukraine in the next 50 days in order to force Russia to the negotiating table. I think it's a very, very solid plan. Absolutely. Brilliant, if you ask me. Absolutely brilliant. But what else would you expect from Stammer and from Healey other than brilliance? Brilliance is Stammer's middle name. Brilliance is Healey's middle name. Oh my God. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. John Healy. Anyway, the foreign minister of France, whose name nobody knows, he said that a 19 sanctions package is on its way. Oh my God. Oh boy. A 50-day weapons drive, a 19 sanctions package, Besant putting the squeeze on China. Things are getting tough, man. Things are getting really tough, man. 19 sanctions package. The 18 sanctions packages from the EU have already pretty much done irreparable damage to the Putin war machine. Can you imagine what a 19th sanctions package is going to do? I don't even want to think about it, man. Don't piss off the EU. I think that's the lesson here. Don't upset Ursula. Don't upset Kaya Kallas, because if you do, then you're just going to get sanction after sanction after sanction. We're already heading towards 19. We just approved 18, like just last week. We approved 18, and now we're already on 19. Anyway, that is what the French foreign minister said. Number 19 coming soon. So Bloomberg, they put out an article with the title, Ukraine risks becoming to Trump what Afghanistan was to Biden. In other words, Bloomberg is saying this is Trump's war. This is Trump's war. That is what Bloomberg is saying. And in the article, Bloomberg points out the obvious, something that we have been pointing out now for many, many months, and something that you guys have been pointing out as well in the comments down below, which is that now that Trump has decided to stick with Project Ukraine, listen to Lindsey Graham and the neocons and stick with Project Ukraine, instead of listening to Witkoff and Vance and you and me, he decided to stay with Project Ukraine. And now Trump's problem is that he risks Project Ukraine collapsing on his watch, and that will be Trump's Afghanistan, according to Bloomberg, in very much the same way that Afghanistan is owned by Biden and damaged Bidenopolis. The worry is that Ukraine's collapse will be owned by Trump and damage Trump. On the flip side, according to Bloomberg, Trump's America First MAGA base is pressuring Trump to ditch Project Ukraine. So he's kind of stuck. He doesn't want to ditch Project Ukraine out of the fear that it's going to turn into an Afghanistan debacle, but his MAGA base is pressuring him to ditch Project Ukraine. What to do? Should have walked away on January 21st. It was so easy, so simple, so clean, man. Man, was it clean. I could have written that script, that statement from Trump. I could have written that speech. Why didn't Trump call me so I could write that speech on January 21st? This is not my war. This is Biden's war. Bidenopolis, he's responsible for this. No more money, no more weapons. I'm out. I'm going to focus on America. See you later. Audi 5000. Sayonara. That's simple, man. Oh my God. And you know what the most frustrating part is to Trump's decision to stick with Project Ukraine? One of the most frustrating parts is that he lets Biden, Newland, Blinken, Sullivan, Austin, Kirby, all of them get off the hook for Project Ukraine, because when it collapses and they blame Trump for it, like Bloomberg is saying, you know, that Biden and Sullivan and all of these guys and Blinken, they're going to be laughing, man. They're going to be laughing at Trump, and they're going to be blaming Trump. You know what they're going to say? They're going to say that it's Trump's fault because he didn't send more weapons. He didn't send enough weapons. He didn't send Tomahawks. That's what they're going to say. He didn't put boots on the ground. Yeah, he really messed it up, Trump. He really messed it up. So now he's stuck. So there was a Ukraine MiG, I believe, that ran into trouble, or an F-16, I believe an F-16, sorry. What am I saying here? Yeah, an F-16 that ran into trouble yesterday. Alexander the First. Wow. Yeah, so it ran into trouble yesterday, and it flew to Romania. A lot of people talking about this. It sought refuge, this F-16, this fighter jet, and I believe we're talking about an F-16. It flew into Romania in order to get out of trouble. And now everyone is talking about how the Ukraine Air Force is pretty much operating out of Romania, out of Poland. But it just shows how this is not really a conflict between Russia and Ukraine. That conflict ended after the first month or two. But this is very much a conflict between Russia and NATO. So yeah, the fighter jets, it looks like the fighter jets are operating out of NATO territory, at least if you go by the video that is circulating, or at least this specific fighter jet is operating out of an airfield in Romania. So should we shift gears and go to Orban? I'm trying to think, do I have another story on Project Ukraine? I think I have another story, but I'm forgetting. Okay, I know what it is. Zelensky is looking to shut down the NABU, the NABU, which is the organization that the West. Let's circle back around. It's the organization that the West. Let's see here. Which way should I go, guys? Let's go up that way. Even though the street is a bit noisy. So the US, the three-letter agencies, the EU, they put together this NABU organization in order to root out corruption in Ukraine and to make sure that all of the money that is being sent to Project Ukraine goes to the right destinations. In other words, this organization was put in place, in my opinion, this organization was put in place in the collective West to make sure that whatever money was sent to Ukraine managed to get to the sources that the collective West wanted that money to get to, right? You know what I mean. Well, Zelensky and the Ukraine parliament, they are dismantling the NABU. That's right. They are getting rid of the NABU. And I'll tell you why they are getting rid of this organization. It's actually quite simple. The reason that they're getting rid of this organization is in order to pressure the United States and the EU and NATO to give them more money, right? It's that simple. We're going to get rid of the organization that you guys put in place in order to safeguard the money that comes to Project Ukraine and to make sure it goes to the places that you want it to go to. And we're going to get rid of this organization until you give us some more money. And any money that remains in Ukraine, well, we're going to take care of it. So we're going to shut you guys out from whatever money is in the piggy bank at the moment, which is probably not very much. But give us some more money, and then we can all benefit together as we were benefiting over the last 4 or 5 years, or forget about it. That's basically why he's shutting this thing down. He's using it as leverage, a shakedown for more money to Project Ukraine. And actually, the new defense minister, my precious Shmyhal, who is no longer prime minister, but precious, my precious, he is now the defense minister of Ukraine. According to Reuters, he is saying that in the next year, Ukraine is asking for, oh man, get this number. 1 second. Come on. Did I bookmark it? Tell me I bookmarked it. Yes, I bookmarked it. He is asking for $120 billion. Ukraine needs at least $120 billion for defense next year, minister says. $120 billion. He wants this money from NATO, which means the United States, and from the EU. He is asking for $120 billion just for next year, just for defense. Oh boy. Yep. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. That's what he's asking for. Give us the money, or there will be no oversight on Ukraine, and no 10% for the big guy, right? Trump should have walked away. You should have walked away, Trump. So easy, so clean. Such a simple thing to do. But nope, you listened to Lindsey Graham as you were playing golf, and to other neocons, and to the media. Bad move. Very bad move. Now you're going to be paying for it, and believe me, if money goes to Project Ukraine, Trump can try to package it in whatever clever way he wants to package it. I'm selling weapons to NATO or nonsense like that. The U.S. taxpayer is going to pay for it if any money makes its way to Ukraine. The U.S. and the collective West taxpayer will end up paying. They can try to spin it however they want, but that money is going to come out of the pockets of citizens in the collective West. Or they will just print it. They'll just print it. Anyway, Orban. Let's talk about Orban and his foreign minister, Peter Siarto. So Orban, a couple of days ago, he made a statement which has caught the attention of a lot of people, where Orban was hinting at some sort of exit of Hungary from the European Union. Now, this was just a hint, a very light, very, very soft, light hint on Hungary's exit from the EU. It doesn't mean that Hungary's going to exit the EU. Hungary's not going to exit the EU, though Hungary is in a very good position, relatively speaking, to exit the European Union, because they're not tied down to the euro. They're not tied into the euro. And so that would make the exit of the European Union a bit easier, though it would be a very, very difficult thing to do. Very difficult, very painful, but not impossible. Not impossible at all. But Orban's argument, and he's right about this, his argument is that the European Union is not what it used to be. It's not what Hungary signed up for. It used to be an economic union, but he said now it is a political project. What do we say on the Duran? What does Alexander say all the time? The EU is not an economic union. It is a geopolitical project. So that's basically what Orban said. He's basically quoting Alexander in the Duran. And he's right. He is right about that. The EU has nothing to do with economics and fiscal policy and financial policy of its member states, or trying to improve the lives, the financial, economic lives of its citizens. It has nothing to do with any of that. It is a geopolitical project. How else could you explain Ukraine or Moldova getting into the European Union? You can't explain it because they don't fulfill any of the requirements to enter the European Union, at least not the requirements that are documented and on paper. It's all about expansion and geopolitics, expansion in the same way that NATO's priority is to expand. So that is what Orban said. And Peter Sciarto, he posted on X, and let me pull it up. He said, "We're moving forward with Serbian and Russian partners to build a new oil pipeline between Hungary and Serbia, while Brussels is banning Russian energy, cutting links and blocking routes. We need more sources, more routes. Hungary won't fall victim to these disastrous decisions." Oh, that is going to upset Ursula in a very, very big way, this post from Peter Sciarto. That is going to really upset them. He's talking about pipelines. Pipeline between Serbia and Hungary and Russia. That is not going to please the globalists. Anyway, that is what Sciarto posted. And I think now we can, how are we doing on time? Yeah, we need to wrap up this video. So let's do some clown worlds. And the first clown world comes courtesy of US President Trump, who posted a video AI meme of Obama being arrested. They're sitting in the Oval Office, Trump next to Obama, and this AI meme has the authorities arresting Obama, obviously in reference to the Russiagate documents that Tulsi Gabbard has released and promises to release more. Nothing's going to happen to Obama. He will not be arrested. That will not happen. I don't think anyone is going to be arrested. Maybe some very small, little fish, way down in the hierarchy of things. But you are not going to see any of the top globalist elite get arrested or charged or indicted or anything like that. That is not going to happen. It's a good distraction, though, from Epstein, I have to admit. Focusing on Obama. Focus on Obama, forget about Epstein. Epstein goes away. Nothing happens to Obama. Problem solved. Anyway, one more clown world. And we'll go to Hunter Biden, the Renaissance man, an amazing entrepreneur, an amazing investment venture capitalist, a real estate guru, an author, a chemist. What else is Hunter? A film guy, film photo guy, a cinematographer, a painter, a Renaissance man. And during this podcast interview, because everyone is doing podcasts, Hunter Biden started to talk about what would happen if he was president of the United States. Are we going to be seeing a Hunter 2028 perhaps? I don't know. Maybe Hunter Biden 2028 could be coming. But boy, in this podcast interview, did Hunter Biden curse a whole lot. I think every other word was an F-bomb. F. F you, F him, F them, F everybody. F. Bukele of El Salvador, F. Trump, F. Trump's policy, F. Bukele's policy. Yeah, he was asked about migration and stuff like that, and he started to drop some nasty words about Trump and his migration policy. And then he went after Bukele in El Salvador, and then he said, if I was president, I would invade El Salvador, or if El Salvador did not help with our migration issues, I would then invade El Salvador. He just went absolutely crazy, man. Hunter. Yeah, he was dropping a ton of F-bombs. I don't even think I could play the videos, to be quite honest. So yeah, he said that about El Salvador and Bukele, for which Bukele responded in a post on X by saying, "Is Hunter Biden sniffing powdered milk?" Question mark. Yeah. Good reply from Bukele. What else did Hunter Biden say? Yeah, he said all kinds of stuff, man. He said all kinds of things, especially about immigration and migration and stuff like that. He also said that, this was an interesting one. He said that that Netanyahu and Mossad, they had a year leeway before October 7th. They had a year to prepare for October 7th. That's what he actually said. Something along those lines. I don't have the direct quote, but man, he also went hard against Netanyahu and Mossad. That is the video, theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, like what I'm wearing in this video update. There is a link in the description box down below. You know, I believe this building had something to do with the Master and Margarita. I believe so. Anyway, that is the video. I will see everybody tomorrow. Take care.